Hey YouTube, how you doing? Matt Kennedy here. Happy July 2nd, and I'm a little bit late with this video. Okay, I'm a little bit late, about 5 hours late. This did drop around 11 o'clock, 10:30 Eastern, over at 7:30 Pacific. But, a little bit late. It's almost 4 o'clock. Got my umpire games tonight. Got 2 games tonight, one tomorrow morning. Pretty much working every day. I did have the last 3 days be canceled due to inclement weather, for rain. But besides that, it's a nice little summer job, not working these long 8-hour days at a grocery store or something and getting similar pay because that's how overpaid we get as umpires. However, remember, just because we get paid high money does not mean it's an easy job. You have to deal with coaches, managers, and you really got to be able to know the game of baseball. Not saying I'm an expert or a professional, but it's my first year, but I got a lot of learning to do as well. Anyways, just want to say really quick, you guys already know about the dynamic game day, okay? We made videos about it. I'm going to spend about 2 minutes right now talking about it. It's called Dynamic Game Day with game day momentum, game day atmosphere, and next gen stats. It's next gen only. We don't really care that much about it because it's next gen only. It won't apply to all of you guys. For those of you that are involved with it, you have to realize we're mainly here for Ultimate Team. We love franchise. Franchise is my number 2 game mode without a question. F the yard. And, SpongeBob SquarePants, Giannis. Backwards passes can go Swiss cheese up the ass. I don't give a shit. So what it comes to, at AJ. So what it comes down to is, this whole momentum thing. It's cool. The best way to describe it is this photo right here on the top of your screen, like right there. It literally shows a meter, right? Sacks, turnovers, touchdowns is what makes it move the most. Maybe a little deflection, a little handoff for 10 yards, a pass for 50 yards. That might get the meter up or down based on if it happens to you or your opponent. But the things that move it the most are sacks, turnovers, and of course, touchdowns. So what do you get from those meters? There's pretty much 2 things you can obtain or 2 things that your opponent can obtain. It's the same thing. It's just you get it or your opponent gets it. It's either you get better blocking or the icons disappear. So if you guys need more information about that, let me know. But it's pretty straightforward. There's already been so many YouTube videos about it out there. There's really no need to go in depth with it in this video. The icons disappearing are over 5 yards. So a little 2-yard route, a little check down pass, the icon won't disappear. And the icons disappearing, again, from an Ultimate Team standpoint, people do the same 5-10 plays anyway. Let's be honest here, they're going to memorize what the button was anyway. Or you can just memorize it at the line of scrimmage pre-play snap. Home field advantage will not be an Ultimate Team head-to-head seasons and weekend league. It will be in other game modes, maybe in Ultimate Team, but as of right now, it's not in competitive head-to-head or weekend league. And if you scroll all the way down, that's where you find it, right there. How will it work in Ultimate Team, head-to-head seasons, and weekend league? Home field advantage will not be enabled. So for the competitive aspect, all you muck gamers out there for weekend league, you do have to worry about momentum, but not the home field advantage. So what that means then is that there is no which home field should I choose? You don't got to worry about that. So all you got to do is do the normal momentum, which is just better blocking, and then the icons disappearing. Game day atmosphere is pretty BS. They claim to have better stadium atmospheres. They claim to have better sideline, involvement. And also pretty much they claim to have just, you're going to feel like it's a better game day atmosphere. Again, even if this is not that great, I still appreciate how they're trying to make the game better through a visual approach. I still want to see tailgating. I want to see fans tailgate, get off that turnpike, get off the highway as it is just packed. I want to see maybe 2 cars collide because it is that packed and a sold out crowd in a postseason football game, okay? I just want to see it, man. Okay, now obviously 2 cars colliding is kind of graphic and stuff, but I want to see just all these fans walking in the stadium. I want to see the pregame atmosphere of a Tampa Bay Buccaneer firing the cannons and the whole crowd just getting a sword out, like a little toy sword, like a little plastic sword, and they like draw their sword. We're ready for you, Saints. I mean, this is what we want. That's the game day atmosphere we need, not this little, sound thing of woohoo. Like, come on, dude. But again, that's what I would do if I was in charge, okay? The next gen stats are pretty cool because they're tailoring it for the CPU teams. So if you're playing the Ravens, you're going to feel like you're playing the Ravens. If you're playing the Bills, you're going to feel like you're playing the Bills based on next gen stats. They're going to see what the teams are doing. If Buffalo Bills love to pass the ball, which they do, they are one of the most elite passing teams in the league because of Josh Allen and Diggs now. You will see versus a CPU game, you will notice they will not run the ball that much to Devin Singletary. They will be passing the ball a lot. The Ravens, you will see a lot of handoffs. So the next gen stats, it's not like it's so great, but at least they're updating it. At least they're taking it a step further from last year. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see things being fixed. Not them adding new stuff and not fixing it from last year. So in general, let's sum up what's it called? Let's sum up dynamic game day. Again, there's three things: momentum, atmosphere, and next gen stats. Is it really all that? No. I will say though that the game day atmosphere and the next gen stats probably will be on Ultimate Team, not the game day momentum home field advantage. Again, momentum is not the home field advantage aspect. And home field advantage pretty much gives the home team 3 perks, not 2. So instead of the icons and blocking, you'll get icons, blocking, and a third thing like Denver is fatigue and etc. I made a YouTube video on that if you want to go check it out. Here's what they did for core gameplay enhancements. This is for everybody, PS5 and PS4. Okay, so player movement, essentially what they're doing is they're really trying to make the players feel more authentic and not just the same, like for example, Travis Kelce versus Darren Waller. Can you see a difference in them, running? You want to, that could be next gen, but they claim that to be last year next gen thing where, Devontae Adams is going to have really crisp route running, whereas Tyreek Hill might not. And that's the truth. When you're on next gen, speedy receivers don't feel as OP as old gen because, let's be honest here, the next gen's very, very slow anyway. So if you're going to be slow anyway, so might as well have that route running anyway. So the movement, I don't know. I'm not buying that. Player movement, better player movement, cool. Like, it's not that great. Tackling, this actually is really cool. They're adding this new tackle now where if the player's on the ground, they're just gonna touch him because that's what they would do in real life. That's really cool. Before, it would be kind of like this awkward, like they would kick them because there was no animation in the game where the player would touch them on the ground. Like, oh, I touch you, you're down now. College football states when you're on the ground, you're already down. NFL, you need that 2-hand touch or just a touch. What's that ESPN alert? Josh Gordon is, dude, he's a bitch. Sideline tackles are really cool. Stop that 2-minute drill for the offensive team. Any early hurdle tackles, you're gonna get penalized. So don't, if you're gonna hurdle, don't hurdle too early. Gain tackles from 2 to 4 players. So if you have a player tackling Derrick Henry and Henry's breaking through, and then you have some other people come and try to help out, the game tackle will be recognized now. But I thought they said that last year or 2 years ago. Like especially with the where is it? The new momentum logic. That's not a new thing. We have seen Derrick Henry in last year's next gen fall forward. So this whole thing of bigger backs falling forward, we've always seen that in Madden, period. It just hasn't been that great. So by them saying this new momentum and new broken tackles, can they make it more balanced? That would be an improvement, not just it being there, because we already know it's a thing. Give me your thoughts on that. Catching. They're going to pretty much be, there's going to be no more rack multiplayer catches. And then also there's going to be less slowdowns by receivers with that 7-3 separation. So what this means is we all remember when our receiver had 2 steps on the corner, he caught the ball and got sucked into a tackle animation. Apparently they're supposed to stop that because it says slowdowns by receivers and they have separation. So when your receiver is 2 steps ahead, he catches the ball and then slows down because he's getting caught from behind. That's bullshit. In the real NFL, if you have 2 steps ahead, you catch the ball, you're gonna keep running, not get sucked into the guy behind you. Sideline catches are really cool. There were some sideline catch glitches on next gen. Let me know if you remember that. Also, they're saying that the catch height matters more now than ever. So if you have Calvin Johnson, if you have Carmichael, they're gonna have an improved catch height threshold so that they'll have a larger catch radius. That also means though that defenders, you might want to swat this year and not go for the pick. Swatting might be the meta this year because when you besides wide open like a wide open pick that's very easy like boom triangle picked off. A jump ball you might want to just swat it because you're gonna have a larger radius now for swat down balls. That does not mean a larger radius for interceptions. A large for jumping and getting that arm span for a swat. Blocking. They claim to fix blocking. We'll see about that. Okay. They're pretty much saying that, the tackles are going to do better versus those elite pass rushers. Pocket presence going to be bigger and better than ever. So, I don't know, man. And then, so, blocking is just in general. They do claim with the running holes down here. Where is it? Screenplays. This is huge, actually. So they're claiming that screenplays are going to be really buffed with the blocking. If it's I thought screens were actually pretty good already. Not for Ultimate Team, but for franchise. So I don't really know, if they really buff screens a lot, you're going to have to really watch out for screens a lot more than we did last year for Ultimate Team. So screens are actually a really good thing. If they buff it a lot, watch out for that. Buffs are always nice to be aware about. And then core improvements, for a lead pass, the pass, if you're leading the pass downfield or you're lobbing it, it's going to go farther downfield for a lead pass. When you do shade over top, it's not going to be as OP. It decreases the effectiveness. You guys can pretty much read these, right? I'm not here to baby you guys. I'm just here to kind of guide you guys and let you guys know what that means in an Ultimate Team standpoint and gameplay reasons. I will say improved pursuit logic to decrease the frequency of over and under pursuit tackles. Let's hope that's the truth because we have seen so many CPU defenders just have bad pursuit angles. Let's hope they fix that. Teammates helping out people get off the ground, awesome. That should have been there a long time ago. I have seen so many times where a player was on the ground, sacked, and the offensive lineman never helped his quarterback get up. Defender reaction time when in position to play the ball versus pass, awesome. So defender reaction time. So versus cover 4, let's hope those deep quarters aren't being effing dumbed out. Scramble sack animations or interactions, awesome. High throw mechanic. They retuned it to make it more effective. I thought it was kind of already OP as it is, but okay. And then playbooks, they're pretty much going to update those. Now, here's what's really cool about the playbooks. They are literally adding some new formations. So gun bunch, Y flex. We have gun normal, Y off. We have some new formations that might be pretty glitchy. So I remember gun monster 3 years ago was pretty OP. Now let's see these formations, right? And then pretty much they buffed pass coverage. They pretty much buffed it where some of the zones will play better. But again, we had zone drops last year. Can we just take a moment to actually process that? Last year we had zone drops which were supposed to fix a lot of the pass coverage problems. Didn't really do as much as we thought it did. But it does help a lot though. based on previous years. Because previous years, they couldn't really do anything at all. So at least now we can say like what yard depth we wanted to do. And I love the coach adjustments. I love them. I think that's like 2, 3 years old now, the coach adjustments. But the whole like option, the whole option defense on conservative, ball carrier conservative, all that stuff is like really cool to have in the game. They pretty much said, what are the best plays called last year? It was dagger, it was verticals, PA crossers, tight end attack, and then mesh and gun bunch. They're gonna nerf those plays pretty much via how and then they explain how to nerf them. So what are my overall thoughts? I'm really glad this video is under 15 minutes. I don't want to be here forever, guys. I want to keep you guys entertained but not bored. The takeaway from this video is pretty much saying I do like what EA is doing. They are making a lot of great changes because this is the gameplay deep dive. This is your gameplay adjustments. And, even though half of it is next gen only, the other half, which are just core improvements for the whole game, I'm liking what they're changing. I think they're seriously addressing, hey, what actually needs to be fixed? What in the gameplay is broken? We've seen some bad sideline catches, the toe tap out of bounds. Like, what, he got his feet in. Oh, blah, blah, blah. The blocking is horrible. They buff screens to make it a little bit more usable. And just overall, I just like what I'm seeing. I like what they're doing. Now, is it still going to be a broken game? Honestly, dude, probably. But, you can't expect it to be perfect. And I think overall the game is going the right direction for the first time in a long time. Only because they're literally revamping franchise. Franchise is literally 10 times different this year. So it's, with, scouting from like regional things. Like you can scout from the West, the East. There's now mock drafts in franchise. There's now literally coaching staff is coming back for offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. So when you see franchise get pretty much revamped and you see a lot of good gameplay improvements, last year we saw what? Like ability points. We saw the yard. That was like the new big stuff. I feel like this year, the whole new advertised stuff, it's actually stuff that we care about. The stuff that they're adding in the game is actually something that we care about. It's something that actually matters. So the gameplay, they're fixing franchise. I think really the only last thing that can really be awesome for me to really be like a 10 out of 10, because right now I'm like a 9 out of 10. The only thing I want to see is some change to Ultimate Team. Whether they change the level system, they change Weekend League, they add a new game mode. Whatever they do, I want to see a big change to Ultimate Team. Last year, ability points, I see it. That's a change. Let's add something different. Well, the auction house, I'm not counting that. I want to see another big change because sets, something. Because I just want to see a difference. Okay? Give me your thoughts. Take care. Bye-bye.